Hi, everybody. So again, my name is Brana, and I'm going to be running the webinar, How Can I Do This with Using AgentLocator today? Crystal is away, so I'm your trainer for today. Hopefully all of you are doing well. This is an open conversation, so you are welcome to ask questions. So I'm going to give you all the availability to talk if you wish. So you can all, if you want to speak, you can raise your hand and then simply unmute yourself and ask a question. So you should all be able to see my computer screen right now. When I come into the CRM system, there's a few things that I like to do right away. The first thing that I like to do is take a look at my filters. So you'll notice we've got a first priority, second priority, third priority filters here. And with these filters, they help us stay on target in knowing who to follow up with next. So the great thing is when I click on the first priority filter here, it's going to show me everybody that I need to call who has never had a phone call before. So you'll notice it says 0 calls here. So when I take a look, for example, at Jason here, it shows 0, or Shiraz, it shows 0. And this is telling me that I haven't reached out to these individuals. It also lets me know that they have either an unknown or valid number. And one of the things I want to point out is just because you have an unknown number, which is a black icon, that does not mean that that phone number is invalid or bad or that you shouldn't call them. It's just letting you know that the system has not validated that number as of yet. And there can be multiple reasons why. Perhaps the individual doesn't have text messaging, or perhaps it's a landline phone number. It also focuses on not set new lead, tried to contact, and non-responsive. So again, this first filter here focuses on anybody who you need to call to try and get in touch with who you have not been able to speak with yet. Does anybody have any questions for me or any specific items that they would like for me to go over? Any questions? Anybody? You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I have one question, a quick one.
Sure.
Most of the leads which I come across, they say nowadays they say like they are already dealing with a realtor. So what
Okay.
to do in terms of the software classification, the CRM classification? Should we classify them in a different tag, or what should we do?
Yeah. So when somebody tells you that they're working with a realtor, a couple of things. Number one, they could be very well lying to you. A lot of times people will tell you that they're working with a realtor simply to get you to stop calling them. But despite that, you still want to tag them appropriately so that you know that they've mentioned to you that they are working with a realtor. So you're going to come up to the client's name. You'll notice the plus sign here, which is the tagging system. You're going to click on that. And you'll notice in here that all of our tags are organized alphabetically. The way we organize the tags is they are alphabetical. However, if you organize your tags based off of a category, then you're grouping your tags together. So for example, if we take a look at this BL here, the BL focuses on the category buyer loss. That's what that stands for. You can have a category or a tag that simply says working with an agent under the buyer lost, or under the follow-up here, which is where I recommend that you put it. So FO stands for future opportunity. You'll notice that there's a tag here that says has agent. So if you don't have these tags already in your system, because maybe you've been with us for a while, if you simply contact our support team, they can help you get these tags in your system automatically. But when you're dealing with a client that says to you that they have an agent or is working with an agent, you want to use this future opportunity tag here and just check mark it and then click done. Then what you're going to see is that's going to now be added to that individual. That doesn't mean that you don't follow up with the lead in the future. Anybody who says to me that they're working with an agent or has an agent, I will mark them as that tag, but I'll also want to follow up with them again, maybe in a month's time. So I would also come in here and I would mark off here a monthly check-in, because I want to check back with them in 1 month to see if they're still working with that agent. And I want to monitor them also to see if they're coming back to the website and looking at properties. If I see that they're looking at properties on a regular basis and they've told me that they're working with an agent, then clearly in my mind, that agent is not doing their job for their client. Because if they were doing their job for their client, then that client would have no reason to come back and continuously be looking at properties on my website. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. But classifying them under the monthly check-in, would that allow CRM to stop sending the listings and
No, the listings and everything are still going to go out when you tag them, even with a monthly check-in. You're not stopping that process. Okay. So the listings are still going to go out regardless. Okay. And you want that to happen. When it comes down to the monthly check-in, what you want to do is, as you see it's getting close, it's been 20 days or so, you want to come up to your applied save filters in here and you want to choose monthly check-in. When you do, what's going to happen is the people who it's been a month, 30 days or more, will now show up here for you to be able to call them so that you can stay on top of that.
thank you. That sounds great. Just a last follow-up question in the same regards,
Mm-hmm.
in the interest of time for everyone. That let's say if we know that a client doesn't want our services or stop us, like ask us not to call them. In that regards, how can we change the frequency of the campaign? Let's say we are
So if
sending them
they
daily.
So I would never stop a campaign
Uh,
ever.
Change the frequency.
If a client, yeah, you can change the frequency. I'll show you how to do that. But in my mind, I would never stop a campaign. I would let the client know that they're absolutely welcome to stop the campaign on their own whenever they feel like it, by simply clicking the unsubscribe. And I allow them to do that as opposed to me doing it for them, because I want to see whether or not they're going to still come back and check. But when it comes to a campaign that you want to change the frequency because they don't want to be contacted and you don't want to stop the campaign, but you just want to change that frequency, then you want to come into this edit button here on the campaign itself in terms of the emails for the listings. And then when you scroll down, you'll notice that there's clocks here and different options. So with our system, you have the capability of sending out listing emails once a day. But you also have the capability of doing it twice a day or 3 times a day. So that's why it shows the option here up to 3 times a day. Once has been chosen automatically, and it goes out once a day. If you want to change the frequency, let's say to once every 2 weeks, you would simply choose once every 2 weeks and then choose which day you want it to go out, choose the time that you want it to go out, and then update that. And then the MLS listings will then go out only once a week or once every 2 weeks or once a month, whatever you chose. Does that make sense?
Yes, it definitely does. So you just went on to what do you call the name of the client, and then you got the save list searchings there, right?
That's
Uh, in,
correct. That's correct. So I came into the client's profile and then I went down to where it says save listing search here. And then I clicked edit. And then I changed the frequency from there. But you need to make sure you save it, because if you don't update to save it, it's not going to save to the new frequency. But
You're
keep
right.
in mind, this is specific to MLS. So MLS listings that are going out. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. Does anybody have any other questions about anything they'd like me to show them? And please, when you do unmute yourself, um, please just let us know your name at the same time, please. Any questions? Anybody?
Yes, hi, this is Shabana.
Hi, Shabana. How are you?
I'm doing well in yourself.
Very good, thank you. How can I help
Good,
you?
good, good. Okay, so once we uh tag lead, um and we want to implement a campaign, for example, not I shouldn't say campaign, but once we're tagging someone,
Mm-hmm.
for example, already bought.
Okay, so let's go in here and we'll tag already bought.
Okay.
So already purchased. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm seeing this person again in my calling list after. So how do we implement put into place so I'm not seeing this person in my call list? Like,
So you've put in here that they've already bought, and what list is it that they're coming into? Do you know? Do you recall?
I think it was the second or third priority, so I'm getting their number.
So what you can do is if they've already bought, you can change them to archive.
Okay,
And when you do that, let me just show you. When you do that, they will automatically get removed from the list. So they'll never come up here.
okay,
The advantage and the good thing with archive is you can always go back and find all of your archived clients. So if you go add filter item here, and then you choose from here pipeline or scroll down to pipeline, and then choose archive and apply, what you'll see is everybody who's been archived here. So you still have that availability down the road to contact them and say, hey, I know you bought at this time frame. Just hoping and wondering, how you're doing in your home. Are you enjoying it? Do you like the neighborhood? Whatever it is, right? Like maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, whenever it is that you choose to follow up with them,
okay,
right?
okay.
But you still have that availability of finding those clients. The other thing that you can do is you can, in the priority itself, so let's say it's here, you can go, actually, let me just, before I do that, let me just pull up that archive again. I just want to put it back so I can show you what I mean. So I'm going to put this back to new lead. Okay.
All right.
So the other thing that you can do is you can add on to the current filters that are here. So let's say you've got this filter and this person is popping up. Let me just see if they come up in the third priority. Okay, here, he's here. Okay. So he's showing up here with his already bought, okay, already purchased.
Mhm.
And I don't want him showing up. So I can go and I can add a filter, for example, pipeline is not, oh, I chose the wrong, oh, hang on, what happened here? Oh, pipeline, oh, okay, no, I can't add that. Never mind.
Okay.
That won't work. I forgot that pipeline's already in that priority. So because pipeline's already there, I can't, it's not pipeline I want, it's actually tag. So I want tag. I was choosing the wrong one. Has any of the selected tags, and in this case, I'm going to say, let's see, already purchased. Does not have the tag already purchased. Let me just see what happens here. Yeah. So when you say tag does not have the selected tags, and in this case, already purchased, and I'm adding this currently to this current filter. I'm not changing the filter. I'm just adding it temporarily. Okay.
All right.
And then I apply. You'll notice only 3 people come up, and none of them have that tag. So what it's done is it's removed everybody who has that particular tag in the system, but still giving me everybody that I need to call based on the other criteria. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, it does. I thought if there could be something we tag them already purchased. So how you said they would go into archive if they're just saying, okay, we bought,
Well, it's
but
just another way that you can do it.
perfect. So if say for example we've already archived them, and then if they start searching, will we see that on our as
No,
they're active?
you won't. You have to actually go into your archived clients
Okay.
to actually see. So that's why I said there's 2 options. It really depends on whether or not you want to follow up with them in the future. If you want to follow up with them in the future, I would suggest doing it this way, where you go ahead and you tag them buyer lost already purchased.
Okay.
And then that way, you can follow up with them, because all you're dealing with is the filter here, and you can still see what's going on with them regardless.
All right.
But if you archive them, you're not going to see any changes that happen. You're going to have to go into your pipeline archive list.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I don't think after we do all the calls, I would go back in archives to look to see who's active. So I think
And that's my point.
this way, yes, yes.
Exactly. That's why I said there's 2 options that you can do. But if in the future you feel like you're going to want to follow up or touch base with that client again, then I would not archive them. I would tag them with buyer lost already purchased, and then just manipulate your filters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would I will follow this latter one that you showed, because there
Right.
have been people, yeah, we've already got something by, and then you see them still active looking 3 times a day, right? So
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this way. And then the other thing too is you can then resave this. Okay. So for example, I can go save as new,
okay.
and I can save this either as personal or company. So let me explain the difference. If you save it as company, which is how we have most of our filters that we've created for all of you saved, we save them as company because when you've got multiple users on your CRM system, when you save it as company, everybody can see that filter that you've created. But if you save it as personal, only you see that filter creation that you created, not the rest of your team if you've got a team that you're dealing with. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
So I can call this, for example, third priority. And I can just say buyer lost, already purchased. So now I'm giving it a new name. I'm saving it as a personal. It wouldn't matter if I saved it as personal or company because I'm saving it as a new filter, and then save. So now you can see that that filter was saved. So if I clear this and I don't want to have to always manipulate my filter, I can come in here, go to the one that I just created. Let me just find it here. Third priority, buyer lost, already purchased, and click it. And now here it is. Right? If I want to see the regular filter, I could just take that off and apply. And now I've got the rest of them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. Wonderful. Anybody have any questions about that or don't understand what I was just sharing? Does anybody have any other questions that I can assist with? Anything specific you want me to show you?
Yes, I have another question
Sure.
regarding starting a new campaign, let's say for some of the selected contacts. Let's say out of my DB, I want to send some tips and tricks, let's say about RRSP or anything else, right? Out of the total 70 contacts, I want to weekly send email to 20 selected contacts with
Okay.
my updates or some tips and tricks stuff. How
Okay.
can I create a campaign and add only those 20 specific users?
Sure.
And every time I have to send them, it's just a click of a button that I paste their stuff and it goes
So
to those.
just to make sure everybody understands exactly what a campaign is multiple actions that are going to be going out either via email or text or a combination of both over a specific time frame. So let's say you want a campaign of quarterly updates, for example, or monthly updates, and you have your first quarter done. So the first 3 months is done. You have those emails that you want to create. What you're going to do is you're going to go into the settings icon here, and you're going to go to Campaign Template Editor. When you do, actually, sorry, I'm going to back up. The first thing you want to do is you want to create the email. So you're going to go to your settings, you're going to go to email, not Campaign Template Editor. And if you've got multiple different emails that you want to create that's going to go out over time. So for example, the first email maybe will go out within 24 hours of you assigning that campaign to the lead. Then the next one goes out 2 weeks later, and then the next one goes out 2 weeks later. What you need to do is create those email templates first. Now, you can create them on the fly while you're creating the campaign, but if you're going to be adding pictures or PDFs or anything like that, you want to make sure to create the template first. So you're going to click on email template, and then you're going to click create new. When you click create new, there's a couple of pieces here that are mandatory that you need to take care of. The first one is a category. So you need to decide, do you already have a category here that you can use? Maybe it's about open houses, or do you want to create a brand new category? If you want to create a new category, you click add new and you create the category. Okay. If you're just going to choose from a category that's already here, great, then you can choose that category. The next thing you need to do is a title. The title is not what's in the subject line. So for example, I could say update on 123 John Street. That's my title. But I can say here in the subject, sold. 123 John Street, sold over asking, for example. Okay, that's my subject. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create my template. So I'm going to go hello. And then you'll notice over to the right here that there are all sorts of different commands. These are what we call short codes. So what you're going to do is you're going to drag and drop the first name short code so that whomever you're sending the campaign to, the system is going to automatically fill in that first name. Okay. Then you're going to type your email, whatever that is, and then you're going to hit save. So now we have our email created. Now what I want to do is, let's say I have all of the different emails that I want. They're already all created. I'm going to go back to my settings tab. I'm going to go to email campaign template. And now I want to create a new campaign. I'm going to click on create new. When I do that, I'm going to give it a title. So in this case, I'm going to call it open houses. And then I want to choose relative date. The reason we're choosing relative date as opposed to fixed date is relative date gives the opportunity for those campaign actions to go out no matter when you've assigned that campaign to the lead. So for example, if I assign a campaign to a lead today and that first action is scheduled to go out in 24 hours, 24 hours from today, they're going to get that first action. But if I were to choose fixed date and I assigned it to the lead today, and that date for the action was, let's say, April 5th of 2023, Well, now I have a problem because now I've gone ahead and I assign that campaign to the lead, but it's not going to go out because it's the wrong date. Does that make sense?
Right. Does it
So
mean,
by
does
using,
it,
go ahead.
yeah, does it also mean, let's say I've created this campaign and I've added a new person in this campaign when the campaign was already running. Let's say I started
Right.
the campaign of 1st September. 20th September, I found a contact who should also be a part of this campaign. So
Right. You
now
can
I,
add it at any time to that lead, and they're going to get the exact same thing, just at a different, the same intervals of those actions, just you started them at a different time. So I recommend you always use relative date unless you want these pieces of information going out on a specific date, no matter what. Does that make sense?
yes, it does. And then
Okay.
how to add those contacts.
Exactly. So then you're going to choose relative date. If you have any stopping clauses, you would choose that here. So what that means is, let's say you have a pipeline status where the client becomes a made contact, cold, warm, hot, set meeting signed, or showing. Anytime your pipeline moves for those leads to these pipeline statuses, the campaign is going to automatically stop because now you don't need to send the campaign to them anymore, depending on what the content of the campaign is. Okay. You can choose silent hours as well, where let's say you want it. I always go from 10 p.m. at night to 8 a.m. in the morning, silent hours. I don't want people being disturbed in the middle of the night. And then I hit save. Sorry, what did it error me? Sorry, it's just giving me an error. Let me just refresh this here. Sorry about that. Let's just see what happened.
Yeah, no
My
worries.
computer is just a little slow, so I apologize. So, new work, we're calling this open houses, and then we're just going to hit save. So I was just giving you an example with everything else that was there, but we're just going to do that. So now the campaign itself, the title has been created. Now what you want to do is add each one of your actions. Okay. So this plus sign here, you're going to click on the plus sign and you have a choice. You can either do email, text, or you can assign a different campaign that you've already got there, or which becomes a little bit more complicated and involved to explain. Or you can do a task. Maybe the task is follow up with the lead and find out how they're doing with their search. Maybe that's the task. So let's say the initial one is an email. And now I want to choose the email template that I created. So open house. Let's see if I have it here. Let me 1, 2, 3. There we go. Update on 123 John Street sold. So there's the email that I want to send out. And it's coming from the main agent. And I'm going to hit save. And I want it to go out 1 minute after it's assigned. So save. So now what you're going to see is, here's my title of my campaign. This email is going to go out 1 minute after I've assigned the campaign to the lead. Now I can go and add my next. Maybe I'm just going to do a text message for the next one. So I just type out my text message, or again, you can create a template for the text message. And this one I want to go out maybe 5 days after the initial email. So now I've got my campaign created. Okay. Now, if I want to assign that to, let's say, multiple leads, let's say I want to assign it to, let me just find, I'm just going to choose any tag. So I'm just going to go add filter item, tag, anybody who is tagged with happy and address. Let's just see what comes up. Nobody has any. Sorry, let me try that again. Okay, so we have 6 people. So let's say there's 6 people that I want to send this campaign to. and I pull them all up and I choose them all. So I'm going to choose this square box here. You're going to see it says 6 of 6 leads are selected. Now, you'll notice that it's showing 10 leads per page. Let's say I had 300 leads selected. So let me just deselect everybody. And let's say I have, I want to choose everybody. So it says here that I've selected 10 of 311. I want to click select all. So now everybody is selected. Okay. Then I'm going to go up to my apply actions and I want to send a mass campaign. So I'm going to go assign campaign. I'm then going to choose the campaign I want, which is open. Where are we here? Open houses. That's what I called it. And done. And then I'm going to click yes. Now, I'm not going to assign this to everybody right now because I don't want it going to everybody in this CRM, but that's how you would assign it. So if I were to just assign it, I'm just going to show you what it looks like if it's assigned to one person. You could, if you just want to do it to one person, even you would just come into the person, click email campaigns, type in open houses and assign and yes. So once it gets assigned to everybody, if it was all 300 people, then it's going to look like this as it goes through the system. Right now, what we've done is just assigned it to the one individual. Okay. Brian's asking, how did I access the campaign editor? Let me answer that for you. Not a problem, Brian. So if you go into the settings tab here and you go campaign template editor, this is where you can edit your campaigns. And if you just click on the edit button, you can go in there and you can edit your campaigns. You can change an email on the fly, but whatever you do, make sure you always update the email action. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? Brian,
Hi,
did that answer
Tracy
your...
here.
Hi, Tracy. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm
You're doing an
excellent.
awesome job, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Further to that note, if you send it to all those email addresses, it won't go to ones that are invalid.
That's correct. It won't go to ones that are invalid, and it won't go if one is an unknown and it just hasn't been verified yet. It might go. It'll go if it ends up verifying it. So that campaign could end up validating that email.
Okay.
If it's invalid or if it's an opt-out,
Right.
it will not go to those people.
Okay. Is there a workaround for then if you have those email that are not good, you can send it through SMS instead? Maybe the SMS work, like maybe their text works, their phone works, not the email.
Yes. What I would recommend then is creating 2 campaigns.
Right. Okay.
One that is strictly email based and one that is strictly text based.
Okay.
And then in those instances, you can then create or assign a text based campaign to those people who have a valid phone number but an invalid email.
Okay. And then it differentiates because that way they don't get both, because you don't want them to get the SMS group as well as the email group. Okay.
No, I mean, you can do 3 campaigns if you want, for example. You can do one campaign that's a combination of email and text. You can do one campaign that is just straight email or one campaign that is just straight text.
Super. Okay.
Right? So but I want to also say that when you go to create those campaigns and duplicate them that way, you want to make sure that you're labeling it that way so you know.
Right.
So title it open house email only, open house text only. You know what I mean?
Okay. I do. Yeah.
So that when you pull up the title of that campaign, you know that you're giving them the right campaign.
That makes sense. Great. Thank you.
Yeah,
and if they are valid for both email and SMS, you can just
do the one that's a combo. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And that's kind of what I would do. I I would create one that's a combo
Okay.
first to have everything there, right?
Mhm.
And then I'd say, okay, if I'm in a situation where they don't have email, I just want to do text, let me create this one. Because now
Right.
just basically what you're doing is a cut, copy, and paste, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Copy here, copy
Almost like
here,
it's almost like a
copy
clone back and forth.
here.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can clone it and then just change it to text, right?
Yes.
So absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other questions from anybody? No? Does anybody want me to show them anything else or anything different that maybe they're not sure about? Tasks, how to integrate your Gmail, anything like that? Is everybody comfortable or familiar with all of the filters and tags that we have in the system?
If nobody has any other questions, I do. I was
Sure.
afraid to ask them because
No, please
I
don't
didn't
be
want
afraid.
to.
That's what we're here for.
Okay. No, I wanted to give everyone an equal opportunity to ask their
Sure.
questions since they don't have it. So I can ask. When I see the way you have the filters pinned, first priority, second
Yeah.
priority, third priority, and they are all like activated kind of stuff. When I see, if you see some of them like open house 1 week in your list,
Yep.
they are like kind of inactivated something. All mine ones are like this only. Is it because uh, the smileys or the stuff you have created they are looking different, or some of them
So
are
it
active
really
and some of
depends. So with filters specifically, so we've pinned these because we want to be able to access those filters easily and not have to
Mhm,
go searching through the list. Okay.
mhm.
So in our opinion, in our thought process, first priority, second priority, third priority, cold, warm, and hot leads are the most important filters to deal with when you come into your CRM system. Okay. So that's why these are all pinned. When you're
Yeah.
pinning other filters, you're thinking of them like a filing system, basically. So the filters work based off of how you log information in your CRM system. So for example, the 1 week check-ins here. Oh, why is it not? I don't know why it's giving me a hard time. Let me try here.
And how to
Okay.
take them as well, like
Let me try this one, the monthly one. So if I go to this 1 month check-in, for example, if I go to that filter, the reason with this filter itself, it's not pinned here, but I want to know what's going on, and this is all based off of how I log information. So people will move within the filters themselves based on how you log the information. So if you're telling me that when you come into a filter, and if I'm understanding this correctly, that there's nobody there or there's a bunch of people there, if there's nobody there, it's because you've dealt with the filter. If there's a bunch of people there and some people you've already called, it's because you have not logged the information. Does that make sense? And I'm
yes,
not
but
100% sure that's what you're asking me.
no, it's a bit different, but in the same regards.
Okay.
And that how to tag these filters, because when I see, I don't see the
Oh,
first
how to do
priority.
it. So,
Yeah.
okay. So if you go to where it says apply save filter at the top here, see these little pins? Are you able to see this on my screen, the pins?
Yes. Oh,
So if
okay.
I go, for example, and I pin monthly check-in, and I'm gonna unpin this and unpin that. Now you see it here. So you
Yeah.
just go up into your applied save filters and then you pin them to your dashboard. That's all you're doing.
Cool. That makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions from anybody else that I can assist them with? No? So again, my question was before, does everybody understand the importance of filters and how to use them? I'm going to take that as a yes. Perfect. So when you come into your CRM system, if you're not seeing these here pinned, then to pin them, simply open up the Apply Save filter, click on the pin next to them. If you do see these pinned, then what you want to do is run through each one of those filters one at a time to see who you need to call next. Who's your next priority? So priority 1 is always the first priority. Then you look at your second priority, which is, anybody who's already had one call or at least one call, who has not been called today and who shows has not sent new lead, tried to contact, or made contact. Then your third priority. These are the 3 main filters you want to go through to be able to make sure that you're reaching all of your clients. Okay. From there, if you start adding people to, for example, the hot, warm, cold in terms of pipeline, then what you're going to see is people will start to fall under these filters also. Hot, obviously, you want to be calling them every few days, at bare minimum once a week, but you want to be calling them almost daily when they're hot and ready to buy now. Warm leads would be probably once a week, once every 2 weeks on average, sometimes even 90 days. Let's just see. This one shows 21 days, which is 3 weeks. And then cold leads would be 90 days bare minimum. So if you're tagging people as hot, warm, or cold, you want to be following that time frame in terms of following up with them. And again, the best way is by logging those phone calls in the CRM system and then calling them once they fall back under that filter again. So if you're not logging your calls, then what's going to happen is the filters are not going to work for you appropriately. Okay. Anybody have any other questions? Anything else that I might be able to show you? Okay. Well, if not, then what we might do is say goodbye for today. This video will get uploaded. I'm not exactly sure when, but it will get uploaded and you should all get a copy of this video of this training either later today or tomorrow. And if any of you at any point in time have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support team. They're certainly there to help. Support@agentlocator.ca is their email, or 647-499-4446 is their phone number. And if any of you have a trainer that's assigned to you, feel free, please, to reach out to your trainer and have them assist you with one-on-one sessions as well. So if nobody has any further questions, then we are going to sign off for today. And I hope everybody has a great day and has enjoyed learning about the CRM system and its functionality. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.